Virgo, welcome back for your twin flame reading. Happy New Year, and those of you who are new, a big warm welcome, and the people that are coming over from YILDIZ readings, a very warm welcome. Okay, during the month I will do live sessions for any psychic downloads I get, and during that time I do give away a free reading during the month, during any one of my sessions. Sometimes I can do up to 10 a month. And also there will be other additional videos that will be connected to the twin flame path as to any astrology, obviously, numerology, angel numbers, the mirror, and more. Now, as for bookings, you can go to the link and it is directly below. The name of the website I have updated due to the fact that I'm looking after 2 channels at the moment, but the website was called YILDIZ Readings, and that is where I do my other channel, which if you do want your general read, feel free to go and join that also, and that will cover anything connected to your finances, anything unseen, and I do astrology and live sessions over there as well. Let's have a look at the energy coming through for you. Now, your crown chakra, in a way, your higher self is almost getting stuck in the 4D. And the reason I'm saying that is because your twin is feeling as though there's potential and they have love and abundance for you. But the way you're perceiving the situation is you can't see something at the moment. It may be you don't wish to see them. It may be that you can't see the bigger picture right now and you're very, very confused. You're moving into the month feeling quite tempted to maybe move in a separate direction, move away from it. You feel that it's a very, it's the type of connection that does sort of bring you in. It can be also if they've made communication with you, you're fretful that it's going to go back to the same equation. Your twin in some shape or form directly feels as though they do have some aspect of power in this situation. Now, both parties do directly have power. It may be that you're needing to feel more comfortable in the frequency prior to moving forward, and there can be some blocks going on with you spiritually that require a little bit more time for you to feel comfortable with it. Some of you also, with your karmic energy of what's coming through on your side, is very much choices and balance, and it can be that you're coming to a place where you're trying to really balance the energies out in the give and take, and for you to learn that within your own 3D life does mean then when twin does come in, or if twin is directly communicating with you, you have that ability to say no where you need to say no, and creating the foundation for that factor. I did deem 2018 as the emergency ward and 2019 as the, what would you call it? The recovery. The recovery of what we wish to recover and build upon. It might have been due to a karmic cycle. There might have been a third party energy, and that has come over on their side, but that can also be something in which has happened in their own life very separately to you. Now, third party energy can also be karmic energies of work, children, family. Doesn't have to be a cheating scenario, but for some of you that may have been the case. At the moment, you're coming to a place where you're trying to get balanced, and they're being quite independent. It may be that you're trying to find the trust within both uniquely being individual in your own lives, and if you're directly working or communicating together, this is the frequency of what's coming through for the both of you. Both of you may be looking at life and, you know, really having that assessment moving into January what you want. Regardless of communication, regardless of what has transpired between you, really trying to get quite grounded to a point where you know exactly what you have to offer, what you can bring to the table, and if you choose to do so. You're trying to be very rational when it does come to it, and your twin really is looking at the bigger picture, doing the work emotionally and spiritually, but also it may be that things are taking them away to really do some internalization on what the energy of the third party frequency was about and why it came about, and that perhaps in some shape or form this directly happened to them and it was with someone who was close to them, or for them they didn't intend it to be you know, an enemy related dynamic. It was a confusing time for some of them. Others, it is a frequency where they're trying to decipher the reasons why they did it when it was not something that was completely intended. You're really, in a sense, casting a judgment moving into the months. And when I say casting a judgment, it can be, what do you want to do from here? Has your frequency, if this has happened, moved beyond that? You know, and each one of us through the twin flame journey, it's very difficult to know where you are vibrationally. And the reason I'm saying that is because depending on what wave you are is really going to deem how you're directly absorbing the information, coping with it, and growing beyond that factor. That is very much key in it. You know, when you're further back in the journey, it can be very much you're fearful that your twin is going to meet somebody else and move forward, and it does feel incorrect spiritually for that to actually happen. Between the both of you, you do feel that perhaps in the past you invested both in the connection incorrectly in the way it was dealt with, or perhaps even with other parties, you know, really having that mindfulness that you're looking at it and you're thinking, gosh, you know, how did we get to this point? Where do we go from here? How do we move this spiritually forward? But you are making a judgment. You're looking at it and you feel ready to. And we really can jump in and out of that frequency on a regular basis. The more we release, it isn't saying we're detaching from the expectation, which then makes us more open to manifest union. There is hope that's going to return during the month, and I do feel your twin's energy in frequency picking up, so it can be that energetically as they shift, you vibrationally are shifting as well. And I do feel there's going to be quite forthright communication if there is going to be any, but you can also be very, very outspoken in your opinions of what you feel, and you're prepared to do that if need be. If they are coming out of a cycle, they're trying to get balanced and they're realizing in the past they weren't quite ready. And I feel that if they're communicating this and they're being truthful to you, I feel you'll be very direct with them. Well, that's fine. Regardless of the temptation, you need to do the work in order to be ready for that. Some of you will be looking at the energy of either what you feel at a 5D, or what you see in a 3D in a very direct manner. But I think you're going to be quite to the point where you're asking yourself, you know, in a balanced sense, what do you actually want? Yeah, you're not wanting the same equation. So in a karmic sense, for you to end that is by you being quite direct. And it can be both of you having trigger points from the past of other people letting you down. And it can even be this energy of you saying, look, I understand why this happened. Maybe I don't understand why this happened. And really communicating your truth that something needs to change in order for this to move forward, of why it didn't move to that next level. But I do feel that there is a potential for communication for you guys when it does come to what has been going on with both you and your twin. Your twin also spiritually is still going through the aspect of the ascension. You know, their crown chakra is slightly blocked in the karmic sense, and they're not realizing the full potential of this. And maybe this is why this is coming through for you, this direct communication, so that it can actually trigger them to have that inner knowing. Sometimes we don't actually know what we've got until we actually step back and allow them to absorb that frequency, and I feel that may be necessary. The emotional balance is going to return to your twin. So they're doing a lot of heart chakra work at the moment in relation to how they can energetically step forward into their feminine and masculine frequency. Their overall energy is moving into this frequency. And any energies of the past, they are actually leaving that behind. So if you're concerned that they still feel a connection to a past tense person, and this is what the block is, it's not, It's more the energy of them feeling they need to spiritually be open. And a lot of times they tend to, how do you put it? We can end up being with someone not for the correct reasons, and not at the right time. Sometimes we meet the right person, just at the wrong time. And the alignment, it's not a ratio of do they love you enough or do they love you more. It can be more so just getting balanced to a point they're able to then give you those things. But we do attain them in ourselves first. But I feel you're really putting your foot down. Meet me back here mid-month and we'll have a check-in as to what's going on with you. Otherwise, I'll see you during the month.